Intermittent fasting. It is everywhere, right? You've seen the headlines, you've probably heard your friends talking about it, but what's the real story behind the hype? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and go straight to a super reliable source, the Mayo Clinic, to explain what's really going on.
So, is this the real deal? A genuine health breakthrough? Or is it just another diet trend that'll be gone in a year? In this explainer, we're going to break it all down: what it is, the potential upsides, and just as important, who should probably just stay away from it. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. Before we can even get into the pros and the cons, we all need to be on the same page. So, what is intermittent fasting, really? Let's get a simple definition. At its core, it's actually pretty simple. The Mayo Clinic says it's just an eating pattern that's all about timing. You basically cycle between times when you eat normally and times when you don't. You eat very few or even 0 calories. The big takeaway here isn't what you're eating, it's when you're eating. So why do this? What's the theory? Well, the idea is that when you give your body a scheduled break from digesting food all the time, you're kind of forcing your cells to switch gears. Instead of constantly working on breaking down food, they can focus on other really important jobs like cellular repair and just getting more efficient with the energy they already have.
But here's the thing: intermittent fasting isn't just one single, rigid plan. In the real world, it usually breaks down into two main ways people do it. So on one side, you have full-day fasting. The most famous one you've probably heard of is the 5-2 diet. It's just what it sounds like. You eat normally 5 days a week, and then on 2 days, not back-to-back, you fast. Then there's the other approach, time-restricted eating, which has become super popular. The classic example here is the 16-8 method. You fast for 16 hours every day, and then you fit all your meals into an 8-hour window.
All right, so why are so many people jumping on this bandwagon? Let's talk about the promise, the potential health benefits that have got researchers and a lot of other people pretty excited, at least what we've seen in the short term. And looking at this list, you can see why people are interested. I mean, these are some big potential wins. Short-term studies are suggesting that intermittent fasting might improve some really key things, like your blood sugar, your weight, cholesterol, blood pressure, and it might even help with chronic inflammation. But I really want you to focus on that key phrase here. These are short-term findings.
And that brings us right to the reality check, because for every potential plus, you absolutely have to look at the other side of the coin. We need to talk about the risks, the side effects, and some of the really big questions that we just don't have answers to yet.
And this right here, this quote really gets to the heart of it. The Mayo Clinic is incredibly clear on this point. We just don't know what the long-term health effects are. We simply don't have the data to say what this does to your body over years or even decades. It's a huge unknown.
And that leads to another really critical question. Are all those potential benefits we just talked about actually coming from the timing of the meals? Or is it something a lot simpler, that when people have less time to eat, they just end up eating fewer calories overall? Some of the research actually suggests you could get the exact same health benefits just by cutting back on your calories a bit. No strict fasting schedule needed.
Plus, let's be honest, it's not always a smooth ride. A lot of people experience side effects like feeling super tired or dizzy, getting headaches, or having some serious mood swings. It can also cause things like constipation, and it can really mess with diabetes management or even affect the menstrual cycle. And get this, some recent evidence even suggests that the popular 16-8 cycle specifically might be linked to a higher risk of heart disease.
So after all of that, it all boils down to the most important question of all. Is intermittent fasting right for you? Because when it comes to your health, there's just no such thing as a one-size-fits-all answer. And we have to think beyond just biology for a second. We have to think about your actual life. I mean, think about it. Skipping breakfast might mean you miss that morning meal with your kids before school. Skipping dinner could mean you can't go out with your friends. If those social connections are important to you, a super rigid eating schedule might just not be worth it. And listen, for some people, caution isn't just advised, it's absolutely essential. The Mayo Clinic is very specific here, warning against this pattern if you have any history of an eating disorder, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you're someone at a high risk for bone loss or falls. For these groups, it might not be a safe choice at all. So what's the bottom line here? The single most important piece of advice from the experts is this: if you are even thinking about trying this, you need to talk to a healthcare professional first. A doctor, a registered dietitian, they're the only ones who can really help you weigh the personal pros and cons and figure out if it's a good move for you. Which leaves us with one last and maybe more important question to think about. Instead of chasing the latest trend, maybe the better question to ask is, what eating pattern truly fits my body, my health, and my entire life? That, right there, is the real key.
Thanks for tuning into this explainer.